Welcome to the New Mexico United Show, folks. Glad you could join us here for another week. Chris Hurst is back, Tyler Ortega, and welcoming to the show for the very first time, Jordan Scotty. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Played some keep at Marquette, played here locally at San Diego. What are you doing right now with the University of New Mexico?
Right now I run their social media for UNM, so I'm Go Lobos 100% of the time.
And so from what I understand is there's a connection here between you and Chris Hurst. I mean, he used to coach you. How brutal had that must have been?
Oh, it was the worst. Probably the worst experience. I'm surprised he even kept playing the game.
Do you have a rebuttal, Hursty?
Well, I know it's probably hard for people to believe that someone as young and vibrant as me could coach someone at that age. But
you know, I will give you
ago.
a lot of credit, Chris. Rio with a monster weekend in Stake Up, and your boys got it done. So congratulations, champs. 05, right?
05
boys.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, you doing all right, man?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, recovering from the weekend trip up to Colorado Springs. So that was a great time.
We had to bring some more height on the show, and so that's why Scotty is joining us.
Right. Yeah. I'm still waiting on that booster seat, guys.
Okay, well, let's get into it, right? And so what a big week it was for United. I mean, a monster week. Probably their biggest week so far, successful-wise, with the U.S. Open Cup. And then let's get into it with what happened in Colorado. And Tyler, I know you were there as a fan supporting United. Well, Frater, he had an okay game, right? Look at this turn by Sandoval. Maybe waited a little bit too much, but it falls on the lap of the freight train. 1-0, fellas. Chris, you couldn't ask for a better start.
Yeah, you could say, what a turn by Devin Sandoval, and you could see he was trying to just work it onto his left foot there, and the defender, to be fair to him, great tackle by the defender, and a bit of fortune that it dropped to our main man right now.
And Scotty, if you're a goalie, that's probably like the worst place you could have the balls in the PK spot. Nobody guarding the Frater, right?
Oh, for sure. But the biggest issue with the Colorado goalie is that he dived backwards. You have to go forward. You have to be confident in yourself to go up towards the ball. And he was just a little too scared of our front line.
Big start. You were there, Tyler, and when you get an early goal like that, momentum for United was good.
It was incredible. And real quick, I want to throw a shout out to the Curse and all of the traveling fans there that made the trip up to Colorado Springs. The energy was just nonstop the entire time from the first whistle, and definitely getting that dream start for Kavan against his former team. It was awesome.
And Kavan's start was just getting started, let me tell you. Look at this ball to Suggs, who takes a gorgeous touch in the box. Maybe doesn't get all of it, but again, Frater in the right place, and you can't give up that deflection, Scotty.
No, absolutely not. And again, same thing. He keeps diving forward, diving backwards, you know. But thank God that we had a little player right there. Always follow your shot. Every forward needs to follow their shot.
And so it's 2-0 just like that, Hurst. And when you're up 2-0 in the first half, 35 minutes in, you got to be feeling yourself.
Yeah, for sure. One of the worrying things, I guess, is I don't know if you realise there, it looks like Suggs he hurt his back in that play. I saw Coach Zach he was out checking out State Cup games out of Bernalillo this past weekend, and he was saying that was why he had to come off. It was from that play right there. So he put so much effort into that shot come cross. It was a shot, really, right? That he pulled up a little bit. So hopefully he's okay for the weekend.
Now, the run was perfect, and obviously we want to see Suggs healthy, the captain, and then when you're up 2-0 at halftime, you can get a little lackadaisical, and that's what happened. And then the goal right in front of the net, it's Mike Seth, and so all of a sudden it's 2-1, Tyler.
Well, and you could see Cody there wearing the ball cap of the Curse, the supporters club. That sun was no joke, and I'm not here to make excuses for these guys, but you can kind of see from that period in the second half when the sun was in our guys' eyes, and then towards the end, once it sets, our guys really get back on the front foot. But kind of just a scrum in the box, and what can you do?
Well, and it's 2-1, and they say the most dangerous lead at half is 2-0, right? Because you can get complacent. And then how about Mizell right here, Scotty? I'll lean on your expertise. He was so big. What a save.
Oh, he's a phenomenal goalie. I mean, he knows how to cover the entire goal really well. He reads it, he steps forward, he's ready to go, and just parries it away. Doesn't even try to risk trying to catch that ball.
And, I mean, this was one of many, wasn't it, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, and as the fans were singing probably about 20 times over the course of that match, we've got the best goalie in the league.
There's no doubt right now so far. Am I wrong? Are we wrong here, Chris?
I was looking at the stats yesterday. It's crazy. Has it ever happened where a team has the top goal scorer and the top goalkeeper in terms of saves? Like, I'm not sure. That has to be some kind of record, right? They're creating so many chances and scoring so many chances, but they're also giving up a lot of chances as well, right?
And how fantastic that it's United. And things continued to get better for United later in the game in the 74th minute. Look at this pass. Gorgeous weight on the pass. The timing of the run, Chris, It was perfect. You and I were texting during this. Frater with his hat trick, his second of the season. It doesn't get better.
Yeah, that ball by Akamatsu was absolutely perfect. The timing of it and the weight of it, like you say, you can see a little bit of backspin on it, so it checks up just before the keeper gets there. And yeah, absolutely perfect goal. Great goal.
Was that a picture of Tyler in there jumping around? Were you jumping around, Tyler?
That was definitely me, yeah.
Okay. And so you look at, we'll talk a little bit more about Frater too, but his second hat trick of the season, and he is climbing up the list, isn't he? Or he's on top of the list.
On top of the list, showing no signs whatsoever of slowing down. Kev Frater, he's a man on fire right now. I think that's the best way to put it.
All right, guys. Well, quickly, let's just, what does this mean this week? And I'll start with you, Chris, real quick before we get to Austin Bold and preview that. What has this week meant for United in league play, getting 4 points on the road against the rival Locomotive, and then here against the Switchbacks, and then also the cup win, which was fantastic in overtime against Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a big travel week, right? I mean, I was talking to the assistant coach again the other day, and he said that they weren't getting back until like 3 in the morning. You know, so it's huge, and it takes a huge toll on their schedule, on their body clocks, on everything. You know, so for them to come away with what turned out to be a fairly comfortable win against the Switchbacks, that's the end of a huge week right there for sure.
All right, well, let's jump ahead now to Austin Bold and a big matchup coming up for United, Chris, and I want you to talk a little bit about Xavier Baez.
Yeah, he's a Mexican international, and he's not a goal-scoring midfielder. He's only scored 11 goals in his entire career, which spans from 2007. But he really is a creator. He takes the set pieces, and he's really got good vision, so he's one to watch for sure. Obviously, now that I've said that he doesn't score many goals, you know what's coming on Saturday now, right? Like, of course, he's going to.
We hope not.
I look forward to the tweets about that one. But yeah, that last chance there, if you see, like, he could have easily took a shot on there, but he knew he had the trailer, and he put it on a plate for the guy, and really he should have. The trailing player should have finished it, you know. But he really is a very creative midfielder, good with both feet, great delivery from set pieces. Definitely one to watch for United.
And Tyler, it's not a lot of goals just by one player for Austin, is it? It's by committee.
Yeah, so they've scored 10 goals so far this season by 6 players. Leading the team, you've got Kleber, number 9. He's from Brazil. He scored 3 goals on 8 shots. It's a sky-high conversion rate, guys, of 38%. But the thing is with this Austin team, 9 out of their 10 goals have been in the box. Kleber, as I mentioned, he's 35. You also see the captain right there. That's Andre Lima, also from Brazil, number 99. He scored 3 goals. Actually scored over the weekend against Orange County in a 2-2 draw. In the 43rd minute. He's 34, and this one right here, probably the best goal of the lot that we're going to show you. Sonny Guadarrama, he's a 32-year-old American. That was his only goal scored this year, so really not one guy to focus on, guys.
32 years of age. Do you think I should get a tryout for United, guys? Come on. No?
Maybe next
No
year.
comment.
Maybe
Next year? I got my men's league game going strong. Maybe Coach Lassane could come out and give me a look, you know? I'll move on. Talking about brick walls. You were brick walls, Scotty, okay? In goal right now for Austin, that's a brick wall. Diego Restrepo, he's been fantastic. 4 clean sheets. Tell us about him.
Oh, he's been incredible. I mean, he has 24 saves so far this season. He was the USL 2017 Goalie of the Year. However, he always goes for the Kodak moment. He'll go for anything that makes him look like the best between the pipes. So let's see what happens when we get on there. If we just keep shooting low, he seems to be a little tough on those catching those balls. So if we just follow like Frater always does, we'll be getting as many goals as we can.
So you think that maybe he's exaggerating his dives a little bit and getting that photo clip?
Oh,
That's what
for
you think?
sure. Every time. I mean,
But
every
he does
goalie
have 4
wants to
clean
do
sheets. That is solid. But it speaks loudly
Yeah,
about
but
his
it's
defense as well.
super early in the season, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, big matchup for United on the table. More to come here. In fact, the Lukas Cash himself has a one-on-one interview, and that's coming up next. We want you to check it out with Brandon Morris, the Director of Soccer Operations for New Mexico United.
Hey, where's Roush and Justin?
I don't know, bro.
Yo, this is crazy. Y'all gotta come check this out. Come on, come on.
Hey, New Mexico United Nation, Lukas here, having a chat with a good friend of mine and a crucial part of this team, our Director of Soccer Operations, Brandon Morris. Brandon, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me, man.
So I guess the first question we have to have is, what does a Director of Soccer Operations do?
It's a big question. A little bit of everything, but ultimately it's kind of making sure the team has what they need ultimately. So, I start with gear and things like that, make sure all the equipment's here, then also planning travel. I write contracts, just day to day, everything that the team needs, I kind of put together.
So in that vein of planning travel, last week was kind of a big deal, right? 3 road games in 7 days. That was probably not easy for you to put together.
Yeah, pretty intense week for sure. I mean, you do all the pre-work obviously for every game, but then to have to arrive back in Albuquerque, then hit the road the next day twice in 1 week is pretty brutal.
But it seemed like everything went pretty well.
Went well. I mean, as long as the team's performing well in the field, then hopefully it means I've done my job properly as well.
How did you get into the business to begin with?
I got a business degree from Murray State University and actually interned at the USL offices back in 2007. And then they hired me to help run the Super Y League. So I did that for a couple of years. I ended up moving back home and becoming a special education teacher for 6 years. But once Louisville City became a thing in Kentucky, I made a call, and Amanda Duffy, who I worked with down in Tampa, actually hired me to be the director of operations for Louisville City once in their inaugural year.
So speaking of Louisville City, that's a championship winning culture. They're working on back-to-backs right now. What have you seen sort of in parallel between the emerging New Mexico United culture and that championship culture you saw as a part of Louisville?
Well, I mean, culture is the key ultimately. I mean, there are some teams that just don't really build a culture. In Louisville, we built one pretty early on, and Troy's done a great job of building one here as well. But that's the big thing, is having great leadership. We had James O'Connor at Louisville who focused on teamwork and players and that sort of thing, and we have Troy here doing the same thing, getting high quality players but also high character players, and kind of building a family. And ultimately, once guys are family, they work for each other and they do the right things on and off the field, and it builds championships.
As a member of the family, probably one of the individuals you spend more time with than anyone else is head coach Troy Lesane. What have you seen from him from a sort of technical, tactical perspective, and then from that leadership of men sort of angle that you talked about?
We can see Troy's always prepared is number one. I mean, he's organized. He has a game plan every single day, not just for games, but every training session, everything else is laid out properly. And so what he does is make sure everybody's prepared, and so when you are prepared, you feel comfortable every day, and guys can come out here and just do their jobs, ultimately. And so once you can just focus on yourself and your job, then everything kind of comes together properly. And Troy puts the work in. I mean, that's ultimately the thing. His hard work is evident every single day, and everybody feeds off that.
You mentioned that you had a stint in education. You were a special educator, a soccer coach. Weird question here. How does the skill set from a special educator / coach translate to being a director of soccer operations?
Organization is key, obviously, for both. I mean, working in special education, you had to obviously have your work done prior to walking into the classroom.
Right,
otherwise,
lesson plan. Right?
Yes. Otherwise, you're getting ran over too. I mean, if
Right.
the kids if they can see that you're not prepared, I mean, you're a deer in headlights in front of a classroom of middle schoolers, you're in trouble. So putting in the work before you walk into the room is key. And it's the same as here. If I walked in front of these guys and we're about to go on a trip, and I was scrambling around and didn't know what time this was at or that was at, or we didn't have proper planning, then the guys would find me out pretty quickly. So it's about getting your stuff done early and being organized, and then just making sure everybody else kind of follows along with it.
So you're in that career, you go back, you help out with Louisville City. Take me through the events that led to you specifically landing here in New Mexico.
Well, I mean, Troy was at Charlotte, and I was at Louisville, and our paths would cross twice a year ultimately. And I think Troy can probably tell this better than I can, but they had some issues on their travels to Louisville, and he apparently called me, and I helped out. And he always thought that I was well organized and problem solved ultimately pretty well for Louisville and for Charlotte whenever they had issues. And so once he got this job, he said he wanted me on his staff and made a call, and we had a nice chat, and ended up coming and joining the team.
What was the follow-up chat like with the family in Kentucky? I'm going to New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. It was, we had a couple of calls, and I would kind of keep my family in the loop. Of course, in Louisville, I was only 3 hours away from them. Then it became like, hey, like this is a good opportunity for me to start something new that I fully believed in. Talking to Troy and talking to Peter, it was like you could see the passion, and it's like, let's do this, So talking to my family, it became a thing where they saw how passionate I was about it, and they're like, yeah, go do it, go across the country, and they can come visit and do their thing. So it's great.
Going a little bit off script now, I mean, is the Morris family a Louisville City family, or are they a New Mexico United family?
Oh, they're united now, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
I always see the
They watch all the games. Of course, you'll see my mom liking everything that we post and all that stuff. So
Great social media follower.
Yeah. So she'll definitely follow everything that I do, and the family does as well. And so they support me, which means that they support New Mexico United.
All right, so we're going to rewind it, and we're going to bring it back to where we're at, and then we're going to look to the future. So you probably had some expectations when you were coming out to New Mexico, knowing who the coaching staff was, knowing who the ownership group was. How have those expectations sort of changed or evolved with sort of the start to the franchise, and not necessarily just the hot start on the field, right? No one can deny that the technical aspect has been top notch, but 15,000 fans on Cinco de Mayo, merch flying off the shelf. How have the expectations for the franchise sort of changed for you now that you've seen it grow?
Oh yeah, I mean, early on, you could see that there was some passion behind it, obviously from any New Mexicans that you talk to about the team, but to see it blow up as much as it has been unexpected on my end, obviously. But I think right now in our heads, it's, there's no real limit anymore. Like you can talk about putting, 15,000 people for a game. You can talk about hopefully 10 to 12,000, 15,000 on a midweek game, or Open Cup games and things like that. Fans traveling to Colorado like this weekend, like it's amazing, So to even for any of us to put a cap on any expectations at this point would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not even really charitable. No. I mean, when Colorado Springs names your fans the fan of the match on their broadcast, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So to sit here and act like, for any of us having expectations at this point that we don't think we can reach is crazy, but also to even put expectations on anything. I think we all know that we will do the best we can every single day and everything we do. And as long as we all kind of keep that level, we're going to be fine.
All right, man, you've done great so far. But now the heat gets turned up. Now it's time for rapid fire. So you're a New Mexican now. You ought to be able to answer this question like that, red or green?
Green.
Beer or wine?
Neither.
Neither?
I don't know.
Why you got to mess up rapid fire? That's crazy question.
That's an answer to the question.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You and Zach Prince jump into the octagon. Who comes out champion?
I crush him. There's not even a fight. The dude's terrified. He wouldn't even get in.
What's your favorite thing about New Mexico?
Just the people. It's been so friendly. It's incredible. I come from the South where, it has this Southern charm, but it's New Mexico is a whole different level where people are genuine and they this isn't rapid fire at all on mine. Sorry about this.
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
Yeah, the people.
Apparently, my rules don't matter. Yeah. Please continue, Brandon.
But people when they chat with you, especially about the team or things, they are genuine, which is incredible. Which I'll take all day long.
Kentucky food versus New Mexico food.
I gotta stick with Kentucky. I mean, I love New Mexico food, but meat and 3 veggies is what I grew up on.
Don't at us, okay? We can't control.
You've seen how much I order meatloaf when I go to restaurants.
Yeah, I can't deny it. Just put a little green chili on there.
There you
next
go.
time.
Perfect.
All right. So just we'll take it out of rapid fire mode. We'll kind of close up shop here. What are you looking forward to over this next couple of months? What are the things that just get you so excited and pumped up?
I mean, just the games. I mean, ultimately, we put a lot of work in, and for me, the game is like the reward. I mean, I get to watch us play attractive soccer every weekend, sometimes 3 times in 7 days, you know. But that's the big thing, games, and just seeing how the fans progress, you know, ultimately. I mean, packing the stadium is one thing, but then just to see what they do next and how many more people we can get in there, and you know, that sort of thing. And it's amazing, and but yeah, I mean, every day it's exciting. So the next couple of months are gonna be fun.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, New Mexico United Nation, we'll be back in the studio after the break with a little bit of rundown on the upcoming schedule. Stay tuned. We're back at it here on the New Mexico United show. Let's take a look now up ahead for United and the upcoming schedule. Obviously, we've previewed the matchup between Austin Bold FC, but then again the Switchbacks, and that's going to be for the Open Cup, big matchup. And then finally, we'll be home, guys. I'm going to start with you, Tyler, OKC Energy, finally back at home.
Finally back at home. This one is shaping up to be a really good one, guys. It's actually going to be nationally televised. It's ESPN Game of the Week. It'll be on ESPN News. It's also going to be Pride on the Pitch night at Isotopes Park. So I'm expecting a really, really good crowd for that. I can't wait.
I'm pumped up too, and the schedule's gotten heftier as you make your way through the U.S. Open Cup, right, Chris? And so you're adding games, adds fatigue. The schedule gets a little bit tougher then.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good problem to have, though, right? Like,
sure.
If you're having more games, it means that you're being successful. I don't know if you noticed, so it's been a month, or it will be a month since our last home game, and then we have 2 home games in the span of 3 days, and then we're not at home again for maybe another full month, you know. So it's a little bit of a crazy schedule.
Well, Kavan Frater, he has been extremely successful with New Mexico United thus far, and he has just actually been named to his 2nd Player of the Week award. And obviously, you know, you get your 2nd hat trick, that's what's going to happen. Scotty, he has been so much fun to watch, hasn't he?
Oh, he's incredible. I mean, he's a great asset to the team, great asset to the front line, and honestly, I think if I was a goalie playing against him, I'd be scared.
Tyler, and will you tell Lukas to prepare his graphics a little bit better next time, as that's the second Player of the Week award. He doesn't have that updated. It's a little rude.
Yeah, you know, that is not a fight that I want to get into. So I'll let you.
Come on, man!
I'll
I'm trying to
schedule
set
this
you
with
up. Chris, anybody want to take a shot?
Yeah, okay. You know, maybe you had a few too many beers when he done this one. I know.
Cody Mizell, he has been brilliant in between the posts, right? Or as you said, in between the pipes?
Yep,
Scotty?
just in between the pipes.
Okay, well, tell us about him.
I mean, he's the tiger in the net. He knows what he can do. He's very confident. He commands his back line, but you can also tell he has a strong relationship with his defense. I think that's really why he's been probably one of the most successful goalies in the league so far.
All right, what is everybody looking forward to coming up these next few games? I'll start with you, Chris.
Finally getting home.
Right.
Finally getting to go to a game again and experience that atmosphere again. We've got one more away game. Sorry, that's a lie. Colorado Switchbacks as well. So 2 away games, you know, they just keep adding on, but then finally getting those 2 games in a week, getting the crowd back behind us, but hopefully advancing on in the Open Cup as well.
I mean, Tyler, that's 5 straight games away from home.
5 straight games away from home, and we kind of touched on it earlier, the success they had over the past week. I think that was a really big confidence booster for the boys. So I don't think these next 2 games on the road are necessarily going to have, you know, that big of an impact on them, but I do think that game against Colorado Springs, I think they're licking their chops to get back up there.
Scotty, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm excited for them to come home, see the curse, see all the fans, but also Pride on the Pitch. It's going to be a really fun game.
Well, we appreciate Scotty joining the team. Chris Hurst, Tyler Ortega. I'm Adam Diehl. We hope you join us next time on the New Mexico United Show.